Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 17 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. I almost said Thracia again. Good grief, I have that game constantly on the mind, don't I? So the plan here is Deidre should be able to survive now that she's in miracle range. This is what I was forgetting before. I can't believe I had forgotten that because it's a very important little facet that you can do there. Beowulf, Sylvia. Time to dance for Azel. He needs to get moving. Rakesis is at 6 HP. And I think this is time to move forward. Macaulay phase. The ballista will strike at Deidre, at least one. I don't think any more are going to attack her beyond the first. Well, actually, the first to damage her. Alright, 6 HP. So she's getting a 50 extra avoid. Yeah, this is actually what I pretty well suspected. Which is pretty good, that they are deciding to attack somebody other than Deidre. And then one of them decides to change. I think that's the commander, isn't it? The commander. I would beg to say that that is the commander. Alright, so if the other two hit, Lewin just dies here. Alright. Wow, not yet a single adept. Or crit. Yeah, so Lewin is going to have to go on the keep. Alright, Deidre. So this is cool. This is going to be the turn in which I'm going to use Deidre's Silent Staff. I believe it's going to be broken now. And then, yeah, so I'm going to be able to use the Silent Staff here, and he won't be able to attack anymore. No sleep for him. I believe the Sleep Staff is a one-use staff. It's actually a very good idea to get that also on Deidre. Just because she's the only one who can actually use it. And it would be good because then I could use it and break it. So that's probably what I'm going to do here. Clement is going to have to wait a turn before I fight him, I think. Yeah, Deidre should be fine still. Besiege. So he's doing 28 times 2. That's actually enough to KO. Not good. That's not exactly what I want there. And of course, if I adept here, he's just a goner. But while I'm at it, I could just get everybody moved forward. Does Ideen need healing? No. But I'm going to heal up Quan. So what I like doing is I like giving both the sleep and the silence broken, that is, to Ideen. Because they're both B-rank staves. She can pass them down even if she doesn't have a father option for her children that pair her with somebody like Midir, like I am doing now. Let's mend up you. I'm not going to mend up Deidre. That would actually be kind of like a death sentence for her right now. The rest of my units can get ready for the fight. Finn as well as Lex both need to repair weapons at this particular castle. It's unfortunate because that means it's going to take like an extra turn, but nothing that can be done about that. And yeah, so as you can see, weapons do not have a usage amount in this game for the enemies. I want to say, yeah, this is the commander. That's the only reason why he decided to attack, if I'm not totally mistaken there. Sigurd should, yeah, Sigurd definitely should double. Put you there. And the rest of my units can just move as far forward as possible. I don't really need any of them here for this, obviously, because everybody else is pretty much defeated who can be defeated. Azel. Right here. Perfect. Getting him over there back to Rakusis is good because I need them to pair as soon as possible. Rakusis needs a couple more turns before she can bother dealing with this next arena fight. Very unlikely she's going to get through the full arena, obviously. And that just is based on how much of a time frame I have, which is not a lot, let's be honest here. I'm going to guard here with Lewin, and then I'm going to end my turn. Hopefully Aaron's squad do not all hit him and just cause this to be another reset. That is the problem with early game genealogy, is that there are times where certain strategies, especially if you're trying to go quick like I am in most cases, are just not guaranteed to yield anything other than potential failure, which is whatever. You know, I'm playing a Let's Play for the sake of knowledge and entertainment. This isn't supposed to be some perfect example of how you can fight and play through genealogy. There are plenty of LTCs and speed runs and other things of that nature that you can check out if that's what you're into. All right, Lewin. He should be able to take out all four. Hopefully, he can't be hit by more than one. If he's hit by more than one, obviously he just dies here. Now, he does have the extra 30% avoid due to sitting on the gate. I actually find it interesting that both the Kaga games that I love, which would be Genealogy and Thracia, have very strong terrain. And a lot of people don't care for it, and I'm just kind of baffled. Terrain is a good thing. It allows you to make justifiable decisions and unique and interesting interactions with your characters and the enemies, even. Okay. Everybody is getting healed up, which is nice. So I am unsure how I'm going to do this here. 12. I have to make sure I don't KO. Yes, see, like that's a KO. That's not a KO, but he's not hitting. Maybe I could... Well, first of all, I'm going to heal up Beowulf. He's likely to be forgotten about amongst my crew over the next couple of turns, so I don't want that to happen. I am going to move Ethlin up, I suppose. Beowulf can go ahead and hit. He's going to hit twice. Perfect. That should leave him low enough that Deidre is able to finish him off. Oh yeah, more than Perfect. That is very awesome. Will I go down in glory? I don't think you're going down in glory, my friend. Sleep obtained. Yeah, so she is relatively the only one who can use this, because though you can use it on Ideen, right? Ideen has a B rank in staves. How is Ideen going to get it? Honestly, how are you going to get it without buying and selling? So the funny thing about the silent staff, I was totally wrong. Repairs cost 20 grand, not 15. I want to say the sleep staff cost like 30 grand to repair it. These are very expensive staves. It's better to just use them for their worth now, and then throw them to somebody who can inherit them, and repair them later if you find yourself in the goal to do such. Likely you're not going to, though, because this game is kind of a bit stingy with its gold unless you're capable of getting through arena. Of course, there are villages. Villages are obviously a good option, but they're not always the best option. Sigurd is in need of healing, so might as well do that. And then I think Lewin needs to go talk with a certain unit here. Wait, Aaron? The hell are you doing here?
Huh? Aren't you? It can't be Prince Lewin. What exactly are you wearing, my lord?
What, this? I'm a bard now, you know. Walking the land, spreading songs and cheer. What do you say? Perfect? Or perfect?
Perfect? But why, my lord? Aren't you supposed to be held captive at Evans? I got here as fast as I could, but...
I'm imprisoned at Evans, am I? Where'd you hear that one?
King Chagall of Augustria said so.
Chagall? Hate to break it to you, Aaron, but you've been tricked. It's nice and all that you're so ready to trust, but you wouldn't last 10 seconds out there in the city. It'd eat you and your innocence alive. You might even end up like Sylvia.
Sylvia? My lord?
Oh, Sylvia, it's not important. Point is, what are you going to do? What are you doing all the way out here?
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to find and bring you home, my lord. It's been 2 years since you fled Celeste. Her Majesty is gravely worried about you. Please, my lord, come home with me.
Do you have any idea what that'd do to Celeste, Aaron, if I go back? I'll have no choice but to take the throne. It's my late father's will, but my uncles would never accept it. Just one false step, and we'd have a civil war, just like here. And it's always the common folk who suffer for it. If there are people who want to be kings or whatever, great. Out here, though, I'm free, and I like it that way. I don't want a thing to do with that throne. For the good of Celeste, just give it to one of my uncles.
I can't allow that, my lord. You know as well as I that the kings of Celeste must bear descent from Forseti, the wind god. You, my lord, are the sole living scion of his lineage. Neither of your uncles bear it. You, my lord, are Celeste's future. Yourself and your uncles aside. All Celeste wishes to see you claim the throne. And your mother, the queen, was in tears when she sent me. Please, my lord, come back.
Aaron. Don't you start crying, too. Give me a break. I can't stand to see women in tears. Okay, fine. I'll think about going home. Just give me some time to muster the nerve, all right?
Thank you. In that case, I'm staying with you until you're ready, my lord. I'll send a message back to Celeste to report that you're safe.
Wow, you're persistent. I'll grant you that. All right. I think I'll stay with Sigurd's army for now. He's a pretty neat guy to work with, not to mention his army's full of beauties. Hey, Aaron, you could stand to get to know some of the ladies here. Maybe their stylishness could rub off on you a little bit.
Yes, my lord.
Hey, I'm just kidding, Aaron. Relax a bit. Don't take everything so seriously. Nobody in the world is as sweet as you. Don't you ever change a thing.
Yes, sir? I mean, no, my lord.
So, with that little conversation, cute as it may be, aside, It is time to speak about Aaron. So, Aaron is the one and only flyer that you get in the first generation. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm going to be upfront with you. Flyers are not really anything fantastic in this game. They don't have rescue utility. Their movement is great because, they can just pass by any form of terrain. But the problem is that roads are better than flying because roads give you a 30% buff to your movement. So if you have 9 movement, you effectively have 12 movement. Whereas she has only 8 movement at this current time. I believe it stays 8 even after promotion, if I'm not mistaken. Now, she could reach 9, but it doesn't matter. She's never going to be as fast as your mounted units. The problem is that flyers kind of have no utility in this game. They kind of really do have 0 utility. You have some interesting things that they can do because, like, for instance, when she promotes, she gets staves, so you could have a flying staff user. But hello, Eflin? Eflin might not be here forever, and that is very true, but there is going to be a unit that replaces her soon enough. And when that unit comes along, there's nothing Aaron can legitimately do concerning healing that would be worthwhile, in my humble opinion. Return, maybe, using her as a return user and another unit as a warp user is a pretty good idea. Having some justifiable reasons to have a flyer in this game is kind of weird. So the thing is that they have so many detriments and not enough bonuses that one of the reasons why I prefer to pair Aaron with Alec, even though you couldn't necessarily say that that's a perfect pairing, it's a very good one because it gives her Nihil. Nihil is incredible because what it will do is allow her inherited daughter, who is also a Pegasus Knight, to basically just say no to critical hits and no to crippling blows. So no effective weapons. Bows are not going to be effective against her. And I find that enough of a utility to make her good in the second generation. Now, she is still an interesting and a good unit. I still like Aaron. I still use her. I still find her great. There is a couple of instances where I actually think that flying is okay or better than okay. For instance, when you're dealing with the final chapter's meteor mages, she can get to them, whereas other of your units cannot. So that is a legitimate utilized thing that she can do that nobody else can really do. So the fact of the matter is that she still does have utility, but it's not really great. Flying over terrain is not that important in Genealogy. There are a couple of instances where it can be clutch. Next chapter is kind of part of one of those, and the following chapter is also, but neither one of them are great showcases of that. Actually, really, nothing is great showcases of flyer utility in any of these games chapters. And the reason why that is because you have an actual limit on where you can move before you see certain castles. Now, this is not apparent until next chapter. You cannot move past certain boundaries until you have seized certain castles. And the reason why that is because they don't want you to just spawn camp all the enemies. And I love this unit. I'm not trying to downplay that she's not, that she's still not a good unit. She's still a good unit, but she's not perfect because flyer utility is kind of bad in this game. It's unfortunate because Thracia just turns that on its head completely. Now, when it comes to her growth rates and her bases, she has 32 base HP and 50% HP growth, 11 base strength, 20% strength growth, 1 base magic, 10% magic growth, 12 base skill, 20% skill growth, 18 base speed, 30% speed growth, 7 base luck, 20% luck growth, 9 base defense, 30% defense growth, and 9 base resistance and 10% resistance growth. Not great, in fact. They're actually kind of terrible growth. She has no holy blood to speak of, but she comes with the most interesting lance in this game, and I'm not saying it because it's like the best or the most useful. It's just interesting because it doesn't follow suit with any of the other lances, just like the slim sword doesn't follow suit with any of the other regular swords. And that is because it has vastly lower weight than any of the other lances. This is actually a fantastic weapon. I love this weapon. This is legitimately, in my humble opinion, the best lance in this game if the Brave Lance didn't exist. And that's kind of funny because you get the Holy Lance in both the first and second generation, at least one of them. I still think this weapon's better. If you were to get critical on this weapon, the fact that it only has 6 weight is insanity. And it would still be viably good. Now, I'm not going to get critical on this because obviously the Brave Lance is much better. I'm going to eventually be giving Erin the Brave Lance. So she's going to have both the Slim Lance and Brave Lance. I'm even going to give her the Thief Sword because I think that's a fun little bit of utility. Because one thing that flyers can do, typically better than some of your other units, is reach villages faster. This is a part of the utility that I will not neglect. They can reach villages faster, some of them, than some of your other units, especially because other of your units have to do other things of import. Like, for instance, your main body of mounted units have to rush the castles, defeat the enemy, so on and so forth. She can be off on the side, dealing with the brigands. And the cool thing about giving her the Thief Sword is that she can steal from them first before she KOs them and then takes the village. So what's cool is that means that she gets a lot of gold, even if she never takes any village, because she gets 5,000 gold for each raider that she kills. This is great. Next chapter actually has a couple of villages that you have to be careful about who you visit them with, because they're stat boosts as well as items that you can get. So do be mindful of that. I'm going to be showing that off when that chapter approaches. Now, she has a talk with Sigurd. I don't think this is important to any kind of degree. 8 movement, 8,000 funds, as well as B rank and swords and lances. This is great. She is capable of using the best swords in the game, as well as the best lances in the game. So she has access to good combat, even if it doesn't seem like it's so right now. Let alone the fact that she comes with pursuit. So alongside the fact that she has one of the better lances in the game, being as light as it is, she is more than capable of finding her way in and out of combat and really taking on pretty much anyone you want her to take on, as long as you're careful, mindful, really. And then time to move you two. Azel will be able to reunite with his soon-to-be love very shortly here, actually, which is nice. Rakessis needs 2 more turns. She's going to get those 2 more turns. I've got plenty of time I have to make up with all of my units over here. And I actually think it is time for me to seize. And yes, that does delete the rest of the enemies from the affiliation of that castle. Good. Macaulay is ours. That leaves the capital, Augusti.
Indeed, sire, but don't get too careless. We've been informed that Augusti still hosts a sizable defensive force. We ought to take the utmost care.
You're right. Who knows what that Chagall has up his sleeve? Macaulay seized, which is perfect. Quan can start taking charge. Like I said, Lex and Finn actually need to heal up, well, repair up the weapons that they possess. The rest of my units are okay. Madir can sit by Ideen for another turn. I'm going to need to form a defensive line in a moment. I've got a lot to take care of, including some more enemies from Augusti that are going to be approaching. Chagall does have quite a lot up his sleeve still. And Augusti phase has begun.
What? Macaulay has fallen too? Zane, your unit's our last line of defense. Take the field immediately.
Yes, sir, but...
Cease your whining. Get out there. Chagall, so quick to panic at the first sign of trouble, are we? You, Manfroy. If it weren't for your schemes, you wouldn't be in this mess. How in the blazes will you fix this? You exaggerated my role. All I did was advise the removal of the king, obstacle to your ambition as he was. All else was your choice. Can you doubt this? Damn it all. How is Sigurd's little army even this strong? This isn't fair. Manfroy, I'm begging you, help me. What am I supposed to do now? As I said, this isn't over. As a last resort, I do believe you have a fellow of use imprisoned here. Yes, I speak of Eldigan. Eldigan and Sigurd have been associates for years. Sigurd will unquestionably listen to Eldigan's counsel. Of course, Eldigan can't do that while locked up, can he? Go apologize to him. Yes, of course. Surely Eldigan is the answer. Now, if you'll excuse me. What a simpleton.
Your Excellency, I bear news from the east. Just now I bore witness to the assassination of Prince Kurth.
Is that so? Excellent. This grows more interesting, if I do say so myself. With Kurth's death, there remains but a single scion to Naga's holy lineage, and that old fool hardly needs our help to die. And then, all that will remain is the restoration of the Dark One, and then the world would belong to us.
What of Duke Arvis, Your Excellency? Is he in agreement with your plan?
Why, of course. As a bearer of the Dark One's blood, what choice does he have? Not even one of Arvis's stature can afford the wider world, learning of his dark heritage, lest he be burned at the stake. Could a man as prideful as Arvis bear to meet such an end?
So he will betray his king and style himself emperor and...
Indeed, but that will not be enough. Arvis alone cannot restore the Dark God. We still need one more person, that woman's daughter.
Men, move out. We may die here today, but we shall die in the fatherland's name.
Alright, so I don't think they move out this turn, of course, but next turn you're going to have quite a cacophony of enemies. One more turn. One more turn. Alright, so I don't think Sigurd needs his weapons repaired. Alongside Quan either, really. But definitely going to, I think, yeah, I already finished the arena with good old Finn. This is very important because Finn is going to be a mainstay of combat for the upcoming battle. Lex as well, of course, because brave weapons need their repairs. You know what? I wonder. Is he still unable to beat Chimos? I think he needs to be promoted to beat Chimos, if I'm being honest. Yeah, he would have to hit 2 more times, which is actually not... Or no, another 2 more times. Actually not totally impossible, but, you know, as you saw, it didn't work out as planned. It doesn't matter. I'm actually going to be beating that guy with Lex at the end of this chapter regardless. And the little bit of damage he took isn't that big a deal because I can just heal it up. The rest of my units, like I said, need to start the defensive wall. Mend up. Lex is almost fully healed. I think I could use Ideen for a little bit more healing. Just depends. Ideen can reach actually kind of perfectly. And of course I am going to be using... Alright. Let's move you over here. I'm going to be using Deidre and her newly found sleep staff, most likely. Actually, yes, I have to use the sleep staff. I don't know who on, though. You can use it on bosses, as you saw. I don't think that that's really necessary. Maybe Zane. Zane has a horse layer. This can be very detrimental. So this will double his attack when he attacks anyone mounted. So he's going to have a 56 attack. Is it likely that he's going to necessarily hit all the time? No. But would I want him to do that? Also, no. Azel, you need to be moved. Yeah, so he can actually move up 1 and then still be danced for by Sylvia, which is nice. More experience that she gets, the better. It's not really going to make that big of a deal or difference. Like I said before, she's just not going to get to the point where she's promoted or anything of that nature. I just find it too much of a chore to even try. Let's go to the arena.
Slim Lance, Juro, the fighter with the steel axe. What's funny is that because of her pursuit, as well as how good the Slim Lance typically is, she doesn't have much of a problem in the early arenas that she can fight in with axe users, because she just has the ability to kind of say, I don't care about your axe. Axes are just that bad on good enemies. And then also she's got reasonable resistance, not great, only 9 base. But the cool thing about Pegasus Knights is they actually have pretty decent promo gains, which kind of makes up for her abysmal growth. The Brave Lance also makes up for her abysmal growth. She doesn't really need to have great strength in order to deal with the enemies once she gets her hands on the Brave Lance. And of course, the Slim Lance will always be there just in case she needs that extra bit of avoid or extra bit of hit, because it is better in those aspects than the Brave Lance. And I cannot believe she just got strength in a level up. That's actually kind of insane. And she's doubling Buchanan. I don't think she beats Chimos. Unfortunate to say the least, but it's just, what can you do? Herzog, this could be a loss. She'd have to get hit twice. Very possible with how many times that she has to hit here. So he has to miss one more time. Okay, cool. And then this is just a victory for her. Had he hit there, she would have failed. Nice fighting, mate. 3,000 gold. Number 6. I'm going to try Chimos, but it's probably not going to go anywhere. Yeah, he's doing 18 damage. But it doesn't matter. Tyakov takes one for the team. Defeated. And the arena is just that much emptier. Wow, a blank level up? Are we joking? Okay, Chimos with the steel blade. Oh, okay, so she actually has a reasonable chance of winning here, especially because she's doubling. Very nice. Chimos tries to strike with the steel blade, but it's not really doing much as he only has a 23 hit. Though he would have demolished her had he actually hit just twice, would have been enough to defeat her. She kind of said no to that. And Aaron finished the full arena, which is pretty darn great. I'm going to go up and repair the Slim Lance. I don't think there's anything in the armory or the pawnbroker worth getting. The Steel Lance would be a great damage buff, I think. Not really that great, considering the weight. So I think I'm just going to pass on that. And I am going to fly away. Lewin can just enter and be done with his time there. That's going to end my turn. And now it is time for Augusti to send the troops my way. Aaron is not likely to necessarily get there in time to do a lot of meaningful work, but she could. She could do something. Rakasus, healing up. And with that, that is the end of this episode. I know it's a little bit hasty to cut it short. After all, Chapter 2 has been dragging on for quite a bit, but that's just Genealogy. Genealogy, basically, each and every castle sees is a chapter from a normal Fire Emblem game. And if you look at Genealogy that way, and if you look at the fact that it has literal save states in the 1990s on a SNES, well, technically a Super Famicom, but you get my point. That's pretty incredible. Either way, I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform of choice. Leave a comment down below, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.